Hi, thanks for joining. I'm your host, Chris Gennaro. My co-host is Eric Rizk, and today we have Cryptic Shift. How are you doing, guys?
Good, thanks.
Am I
Cheers for having us.
going well?
Okay, let's get right into it. I guess we'll start with the Chasm of Eons split that you did. We're friends with Replicant. We know those guys. We're fans of them, so we were excited to see that split come out. And your track was a big part of that, obviously, and was really cool. The Cosmic Dreams. Why don't we talk a little bit about that coming out? I mean, I know this song was maybe a couple years older, and maybe was just a good thing to include on that split. So take us through that a little bit.
Yeah, Cosmic Dreams was recorded in 2017, and we put it out then as well. But it only came out digitally. So when the split came about, it was Astral Tomb. Those guys were like got in touch, like, hey, we want to do a split. We've got Replicant and the Inoculation on board and stuff. So it was a really cool idea. And I think initially we're gonna say yeah, it was a cool idea, but we haven't really got a song for it. Anything new recorded, because we're like focused on this album that's coming up. And then the idea came about to just put Cosmic on there because it never got a physical release. So, and because Cosmic's like tied to the story of the album, it really made sense to have like a physical release. And luckily a lot of people have picked it up, off the back of Visitation. So they go well together in that aspect.
Okay, and you mentioned about the lyric. I know obviously you guys have a sci-fi theme going on. I mean, I think that's clear from everybody who just even looks at your album covers and stuff. And it sort of, looked like it made sense for you on the split. It just from reading some of your other interviews and stuff, though, it seems like I think you mentioned there is a story going through most of your releases. So why don't you talk about that? I know there's something about like a moon of Saturn or something like that.
Yeah. Is there anything specific in the story that you've read or that you want to know more about? Because the whole story is a really massive
Massive thing
that's evolving. But I can go through Cosmic Dreams to start with. So our character is just a regular person, like on planet Earth, maybe 100 years into the future or something, and he's dabbling in like astral projection sort of thing, where like your mind goes out into space, but your physical body remains on Earth. And this one time he does it, he ventures like way too far into these dark like dimensions that like, through unlocking your mind more through this astral projection things, his tether that links his astral self to his physical self like severs, and he falls through all these evil dimensions, and he's totally separated from planet Earth. And he's defeated. He gets torn apart by these dimensions, these strange creatures there, and he dies multiple times. But then he has like a sort of an awakening, and his perception changes, and he's motivated, and he manages to escape these like eternal levels of hell and weird dimensions, and then he escapes. And he falls out of this dimension and lands on a planet at the very end of space and time itself, and in the far into the sky, in the stars, and he sees all these like collapsing nebulas and galaxies merging, and there's this like ancient like end of time battle that's occurring between this like small entity and these larger like ancient one kind of creatures that are massive, like bigger than planets themselves. So he's just come out of this at the end of time, sort of just popped out of this wormhole, and he's experiencing this like ancient battle, and the whole space time itself is like collapsing and about to end. And through his exposure to these dark dimensions that he was just in earlier, and through his motivation, he feels he has this like power, like extra human abilities and Jedi powers, essentially, So he tries to intervene with this battle that's going to rupture and end existence itself, but he fails, and he's back on this planet. And as this battle is raging and reaching its climax, he has to escape It's the only thing he can do. So he hops in a ship and just blasts away from this planet, along with every other being on this planet trying to escape.
So is
And
that like the same character that goes through a lot of the songs?
this one's only Cosmic Dreams,
Oh,
but
okay.
at the very end of Cosmic Dreams, these as existence is ending, these like wounds in time that open, and it's like space time splitting apart, and all these like wormholes and portals converge on our one character and split him into two forms, and he's blasted way back in time to an unknown point. And Visitations opens with our character, which is one of these forms. The other form, we can't say anything about just yet, but the first form, he escaped in this ship, but he awakens at the start of Visitations, Moonbelt Immolator, and he has no memory of who he is or what just happened with these dimensions and seeing this ancient battle. And he's just waking, he's wary in his spaceship, in all his black. He's just emerged from the wormhole and he's just drifting through space, and he doesn't know who he is. And then through Visitations, Moonbelt, and Hypergean, and so on, the other songs, he encounters all these scenarios. In Moonbelt, the main ones are the first thing he encounters is this massive space battle above this gas giant. That's it's not our solar system. It's supposed to be one in the Wolf constellation. And initially, it's like, who is he? He's just having to cope with all these scenarios that he's coming across. But eventually, things start to tie together. Like later on in Hypergean, he meets one of these ancient beings that was in Cosmic Dreams. And then they have a battle, and then he has to chase after it. And through Arctic Chasm, he learns more about himself. And then in Planetary Hypnosis, it comes full circle. And he actually becomes the one entity that the character in Cosmic Dreams was battling against these ancient ones. So it's sort of this big loop thing.
Okay. Speaking about Cosmic Dreams, I know you guys did a playthrough, and that was definitely it's an instrumental version, if my memory serves me correctly, that you guys do. So take me through maybe how that got set up. I know that's with your previous guitarist, but a lot of times, especially with bands that are a little bit more technical, you definitely have a greater appreciation for some of these songs when you see, all the things that go into like actually playing this stuff.
Yeah, man. I enjoy watching playthroughs of stuff. I've been a guitar player myself, so, and it's kind of like a thing that like modern metal bands do, and it gathers a lot of like fans that also play guitar. So yeah, it was just a cool thing that we thought we should do with the marketing of Cosmic Dreams. And yeah, that was back when we had Henry. Henry left just a few months after Cosmic came out, actually.
Okay, I was looking at the dates in Metal Archives, and it looks like you've had three main guitar players: Henry, Joe Brady, who I assume is related to you in some way, unless that's a huge coincidence that you have the same last name.
Yeah, it's just a huge coincidence. He's called Bradley, yeah.
Oh, is it a coincidence?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I was like, oh, I'm for sure these two were related, but I guess not. Um, okay, so Joe left recently, and you got Joss, but I don't think he's on any of the recordings yet. Correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Joe left at the end of 2019, but he played the final show like in January 2020. So, but we'd planned on lining up Joss since the end of 2019, for when like Visitations came out. Yeah.
So what do you, obviously there's COVID, you're not doing any more shows. What kind of stuff are you doing now with your new guitar player? Are you writing an album? Are you getting ready for shows? Obviously we all thought that they would begin by now, but they haven't, So what have you been keeping busy with?
Joss played his first show with us like January last year, and it was like pretty ropey because Joe wasn't able to commit to the date and we didn't want to pull out. So we just spent a lot of time just getting back and getting getting Joss learning all the new material. And then, you know, like you said, we all expected shows to be back by now. So recently we've kind of just started working around on new stuff, you know. That's kind of like all we can do other than, you know, playing the record again and again and again. It's like, who knows when shows are going to be back? We might have another record out by then. It's kind of like becoming more and more unpredictable, like as the days go by. So I guess that's kind of just been where we're at for the last year now. Like the new stuff was always kind of like on the back of his interests for a while. I know me and Xander shared ideas and started working on some stuff like months ago. But like now, especially more recently, everybody's getting involved and we're starting to get creative again, which is pretty fun because Joss plays in another band called Separation, and we've known like that band for years, played loads of shows with them and stuff. So hearing his writing and trying to understand like what his writing is going to be like with the Cryptic Shift stuff, because I know he's kind of like self-aware of his writing and he's like looking forward to, you know, trying to write in a different style which is more suited to what we do. So yeah, it's just working on new stuff at the minute, I guess.
Yeah. With Joss joining, with just this past weekend with the like rehearsal sessions of the last weekend were like the first that were all sort of focused on new stuff, just because we've been jamming visitations for like more than a year now together, and you know, just coming in and doing that over and over and over becomes a little tedious. So we're pretty tight with that now. So we're finally like aiming towards some newer stuff now, and it's cool playing with Joss and writing. Separation's last release, or the 2017 one, I think it's the one previous to the last, that had some like kind of weirder elements in. That was, you know, they're like a death thrash band, kind of straightforward, but just ripping and really sick. But that Echoes of Mercy EP was like, had some pretty cool, weirder stuff in. So that was definitely like an aspect of why we wanted Joss to join. So, and our previous guitarists, they've been like kind of like quite melodic and like melody focused. And so it's cool to have Joss on board now, who's kind of interested in some of the weirder, more dissonant things.
Okay, so I assume that you played in a band. You guys played together with his other band, and that's how you know him and stuff.
Many times, yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of like weekenders with them before, like over the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah, so we're all like good friends with them already.
Cool. One of the interesting things I was looking at was that I seem to know like a lot of bands from Leeds. I don't know much beyond about Leeds besides the fact that I keep seeing the name over and over again. It seems like you guys are maybe a little bit from all over the place, but that was like your central hub.
That's like me and Xander from Leeds. Like we've always lived in Leeds. Henry was from Leeds, but then John's from Liverpool. Joss lives in Bristol at the minute, but they're both moving to Leeds like next month, hopefully. But yeah, like I don't know, it's kind of weird. Everyone that's kind of joined with, other than, well, since Henry left, since Henry was in the band, John joined. We knew him from another band, and then Joe joined. He was in the same band as John, but Joe joined us like years after. And then obviously we knew Joss for going on like 5 years now, like already. So it's kind of cool. I guess like the UK is pretty small compared to a lot of America, so it's easier to like get around and like meet all the like bands in the scene and stuff like that. And you often find that like the bands that we play with, we've played with a lot because there's not too many like other bands to play with really. It's kind of like the same 20 bands, like maybe 20-30 bands in the scene that we play in here. Like, so you know, you kind of become friendly with like everyone and stuff, so it's kind of sweet.
Cool. Yeah, I know the one band that I correspond with, Grok, I really like, and
Right?
I think there's a couple other punky type of bands, Lugubrious Children. I know
Great
it's
band.
from Leeds. You guys know
I
them?
am.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Real good friends with those guys.
Okay,
It's a
yeah,
shame they like broke up a couple of years back, but I think they've moved on and now they're doing a death metal band called Mortuary Spawn. And they've only played one show, which is when me and Xander put Demolish on a local venue called Boom, and it was real sick stuff. But I don't know what's going on. I think they've got a demo, but they haven't released it yet. But that's some real cool stuff. The drummer Ben Jones is like one of my favorite drummers to watch in the area and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty stoked. It's like I'm stoked to hear whatever they do with that band.
cool.
Yeah,
And
Ben's a really killer drummer. He's great to watch. He's Ben. Yeah.
cool. I was going to say, I usually say this all the time during my interviews, but if you don't know, we always put links to other bands and other things that we talk about. I just always feel that the scene is just stronger for, co-promotion and sharing who we like and who we're listening to. So I think it's awesome that you guys know them because I think they're real cool. When I was corresponding with the guy from Grok, and I think he said that he shares a space or something with you guys, maybe a practice rehearsal space. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know any of them personally, but the scene in Leeds is kind of orientated around one venue, which is Boom Leeds. You might know it as Temple of Boom. It seems to be known like worldwide and stuff, but that's like a real cool like DIY space. Kind of like a lot of people compare it to like CBGBs and stuff. Um, so like that's kind of just where everyone, all the shows are there, like of all the different like extreme like genres and stuff. So um, I mean, there's a lot of metal bands and like kind of like ones that we don't know that kind of practice around there. So I suppose it must be one of them.
What's the place you just mentioned? That was a venue.
Boom Leeds.
Boom Leeds.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to be in England next, but
I've never been actually.
you've never been?
I want to go. I've never been to England yet.
I've been only once, and it was
Okay.
pretty cool.
Okay. Who does the artwork for your albums?
The artist who did Cosmic Dreams and Visitations, she goes by A. Nagamasa. She's from Russia, and yeah, she's an exceptional artist. Yeah, when we first got her in 2016 for Cosmic Dreams, it was kind of like just taking a shot. We didn't know how it turned out, but then she sent back like nearly complete sketches and like not colored yet of Cosmic, and we're like, all right, this is cool. And then she sent it back with all the colors, and we were just blown away, like, whoa, this, we've discovered someone who's just unknown, doesn't really have much online presence, and the producing art of this like caliber, we were just over the moon. So
Yeah, I thought it was really
to get her for Visitations was a no-brainer as well. Yeah, and she did 4 art pieces for Visitations,
okay.
and they're all fantastic.
Awesome. And do you write the whole story, like the entire story? Are you primarily because you do the vocals, like who came up with the story, or did the whole band come up with the concept and story, or?
Yeah, it's all come from my brain essentially. Like,
Okay.
so like the artwork's like tailored towards that. The main artwork that you can see behind Ryan there, that's
what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's like that looks like the back, like the artwork. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that takes place in track 3, the Arctic Chasm, while our character's in this alternate dimension called Raskazu. And then the alternate art piece, which is on the CD, and you get a poster of it like in the vinyl. It looks it's on there like the moon, like this moon base. That's during Moonbelt Immolator. Our character's ship lands there, and he ventures inside the base. And then there's 2 other art pieces that are like in the liner notes, and they're both inside said moon base.
Cool.
Yeah, the artwork is definitely cool, and You know, I think this also came up in the Replicant interview that there's not a ton of bands that you know, like every band I feel like does the horror theme, right? So when you see like Blood and Guts on an album cover, you're just like, it's just, you know, it's just like whatever. I've seen this 1,000 times, but you know, the sci-fi stuff is not as prevalent. So that's super cool. And I guess maybe that could lead us into maybe some of your influences and things. You know, I was pretty thankful that you guys were saying that you don't really know a bunch of the prog rock stuff, because I don't either. So I'm not really comfortable talking about that. But, you know, I do know, obviously, some of the other bands I've heard you mention, Blood Incantation, Voivod, a couple other things. So maybe, you know, talk about who your influences are and who your influences are not, that maybe people might think that you're into, but maybe are not so much.
George Lucas and Star Wars is the biggest, probably.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm a big Star Wars fan myself. I do like that stuff.
Yeah, it's like absolutely that. At least like with the record, like well, what kind of the reason that we do the sci-fi stuff is just because we're nerds. There's no denying that, especially me and Xander. So just like growing up and like Star Wars, and then even like, you know, like video games like Mass Effect. That's a big one for me and stuff like that. And just, you know, Xander, you're into like Dune and that kind of stuff, like Mad Max, and kind of like all that, like, I don't know, sci-fi is awesome. Everything's kind of unique in its own way. Obviously, there's some stuff that is pretty similar and stuff like that, but it's kind of cool. I mean, it's nice for us to kind of like, you know, look at an artwork piece and it fit the vibe completely, and not necessarily be like, oh, it could be more brutal. Like, you know, it's kind of like, nah, like a lot of people, I think that's why a lot of people like the artwork as well. Like you said, it's kind of refreshing in a way. It's not just like, you know, like guts and stuff like that. It's like, what is this? Which is kind of how you feel when you're watching like a sci-fi film for the first time. And that first like 20 minutes is always kind of like, you know, someone's floating around in space and it's creating that environment and stuff like that.
Yeah, you guys are. Go on.
And because we have this story and we have like this visual element, and we want to imagine this like adventure that the character's on, with a lot of it's to do with like matching the music with whatever's happening in the story.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just moving things along. I know you guys did a cover of a Sepultura song a while ago. I was looking for that, but I see that it's not on your Bandcamp. Is that going to become available at any point, or because I think you also have a demo collection that I think is also kind of hard to find, at least for me, because I was poking around looking for it.
Yeah, we did a single, which was like our first release. Did like a single, and we just put a Sepultura thing on there, but it's just so old, and we only put it out on like a little slipcase CD thing, and it's just it's kind of just different to what we're doing now. We just want to focus on what we want to portray ourselves as now. But I don't know, maybe it'll pop on like a demo collection or something like that at some point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's like some demos of the first EP, Beyond the Celestial Realms, that's gonna resurface hopefully this year. We're just kind of planning that out at the minute with Blood Harvest. But yeah, back to the Sepultura thing, like that was just because we were just into that at the time, you know. I think we were given some free recording time or something, so we kind of did the one song, and then we're like, oh, you know, let's make the most of this time here, and you know, we played that cover live a couple of times and stuff like that. When you know, we only had like a couple of original songs, so to fill the set out, we'd do like a cover or something. So yeah, we just kind of just threw it in there. It was pretty cool at the time. But like Xander said, it doesn't really like represent the band too much anymore. Because like things kind of started for us with the Beyond the Celestial Realms EP. I think that's when we really like was like, right, yeah, this is how we want to sound and what we want to do and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Cool. I guess let's talk about Blood Harvest. Is that like your main? Because I know you've had a couple, like Beyond the Celestial Realms is on a different label, but it seems like you're a Blood Harvest band now. Is that the case?
Yeah. We signed with Blood Harvest just to get visitations done. We've got like another release coming out in well, like I said, hopefully this year, which isn't like the next release. It's just kind of like I don't know how much we can talk about it right now, but it's just like a little cool something that we're throwing out there. Just while the pandemic's like happening and stuff, we can't play shows, so it's kind of nice to like offer fans like this new like package that we're working on and stuff like that. But yeah, it's sweet. Like working with Blood Harvest, we've had like the way that Rod handled the visitation stuff is like way better than we expected of most labels anyway. So yeah, it was pretty cool, and we're like fans of the like Blood Harvest fans and stuff like that. So it's kind of sweet just to be on that label. I think it was right for visitations to come out on Blood Harvest.
So your next thing probably wouldn't be a full length then, but maybe you would have a smaller release and then a bigger release. And I assume everything would be with your new guitarist, Joss.
What we're working on at the minute, not necessarily is new material, but moving forward, we are working on the next full-length record.
Cool.
Hopefully we'll be able to share more on that soon, I'd imagine. But how soon, I'm not particularly sure. We're kind of working on like a little bit more of the like business kind of like details and stuff like that before we can share any information. But it's gonna be pretty exciting, and I know we're all excited like to share stuff, so it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and like I was saying, last weekend we started work on the material for the next full length, which regarding the story, Cosmic Dreams has the characters separate into two forms. Visitations is one, and the next full length will be like the other character and how it all links together.
What do you think? How do you approach the songs as far as writing, or what do you? I was going to say, like, I don't know too many bands that have 25-minute songs. A couple of them here and there, but I think that's a little unique. And then you have obviously you do some more traditional length songs, like in the 3 to 7 minute length. How do you feel about doing the long songs versus the shorter stuff? Like, do you enjoy doing that stuff? Do you record it all in one shot? Like, take me through a little bit of that, doing the longer tunes.
Compared to the shorter ones, like when we've been rehearsing it over the last year, the equally is good, but they have a different vibe to them. You can blast through the shorter songs, and it's like, yeah, that was kick ass. It was awesome. But like when we play Moonbelt in the practice room, and like some of the like slow atmospheric sections, you really like sit into that sci-fi atmosphere, and it's really, really a cool feeling to go through that. But in regards to like songwriting, they were kind of done in the same way. Like when we're jamming Moonbelt in Maleta in the practice room, it kind of just goes by really quick, and we're like, all right, yeah, we're done. That's 25 minutes gone. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I was just going to mention that when it came to writing it, we weren't necessarily like in the mindset of setting out to write a real long song. Just kind of a lot of ideas kind of happened, and the way it flows and stuff like that kind of made more sense to piece it together. We kind of threw around the idea of making it into like a couple of shorter tracks, like all like in part. But in the end, we just kind of decided it was best for the first like chapter of the story, I suppose. That's what kind of made it like the 25-minute song, which is pretty cool. I mean, like Xander mentioned, for us, like playing it in the practice room and stuff, and we played it live a couple of times before the album came out. It's just another song, like, you know, it's cool. And there's a lot of fans that have got in touch and been like, "Oh, you ever gonna play Moonbelt live?" It's like I'd rather play Moonbelt live than play the 3 other songs. I mean, we're gonna play the full album when we can, but it's not like anything we're gonna have to put any extra like preparation into being able to pull off or anything like that. So that is pretty sweet. It's kind of nice to reflect and be like, cool, yeah, we did write the 25-minute long song, and you know, there's not really been any complaints about it. I think that was one of the main concerns. That was not concerns, but like, you know, that's a 25-minute long song is a lot. It's a long song, but people seem to have taken it in the right light for what it was, and it is just that journey from the start of the track to the end of the track, basically. Like, and we haven't necessarily received any bad feedback from anyone on that. So it's pretty awesome that it worked out well and fans have enjoyed it and perhaps even discovered us through the 25-minute like song being a thing. So it's pretty cool, you know. I'm just glad that people have checked it out and people enjoy it and they understand it, and it's nice. It's cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, it worked really well, and especially with it being our debut album and opening it with the long song, it could turn people off, but it was more about the people that the look at it and go, holy shit, that sounds awesome. You know, like the sci-fi name scene, it's 25 minutes. You know, those are the kind of fans that we're sort of aiming for. You know, like someone sees that and goes, wow, that sounds awesome, just by looking at the artwork and the name and the, you know, the length of the song. Those are the kind of people I think we've picked up and we've like aimed for, and you know, but like compositionally, yeah, it was always going to be really long. It wouldn't have made any sense splitting it up into different tracks, because there's like certain chords and themes and motifs that go through the whole song, and then like a return at the end. So we didn't want to do like Moonbelt Emulator 1, Part 2, Part 3, because I think that kind of looks crap on the back of albums. You know, why don't you just do it on like the full piece as it's like intended? Yeah, like I was saying, it follows the story, and I had like a few story parts that had like riffs that were like assigned to them, and like the big middle chug section of Moonbelt, that was always going to be there, and that like got worked on, and you like just piece the bit that you've got later in the song to it, and it was all about like Beyond the Cestus Realms was really focused on like riffs and like, all right, that's a cool song, you know, it wasn't too long, but Moonbelt came about, and the rest of the songs and Visitations, it was all getting the composition right and getting the flow nice and the transitions, not having any riffs that are kind of jarring and been like, oh, why was that there? Didn't really fit the previous riff. It was all making the transitions flow smoothly, and Moonbelt especially, like the first few minutes are like establishing the atmosphere, like the opening of a sci-fi movie when it's like somewhat eerie and mysterious in space. You don't know what's going on. You just, you know, maybe you see a planet and a spaceship, and you're like wondering what's that about, and that's what intrigues you and pulls you in. And then as it progresses, a bit of action, and it dies back down again, and then towards like 15-minute mark up until the end, basically, there's this like relentless flow idea that I had, and it just had to flow nice and build the intensity at the same time, and keeping that relentless flow. Like the riffs are always transitioning nicely, it's flowing, and then it like builds up and it crescendos, and like the last little when the last riffs are introduced, it's sort of like bam, you've like reached the finish line, and then right at the very end the verse comes back with the chorus, and then there's like the link to like the riffs earlier on in the song. So it's all about just tying it together with the themes and motifs and keeping that flow really nice.
Cool. like I said before, we do promote this, you know, anything that we talk about in the description. I know you guys got you got a YouTube channel, which you had the playthroughs. I'm not sure if there were any other plans for the YouTube channel besides like videos and stuff, but people can check that out. Yeah.
We're planning on doing more playthroughs on guitar and bass and drums probably as well. We're working on a tab book as well. We did release like a digital tab for Cosmic Dreams, but this time we're gonna try and get it printed in a full booklet, because I know we've got a lot of fans who are like guitar players, and I myself as a guitar player, like when Artificial Brain released like tab books, you know, I like them, and Revocation, I'm a big fan of Revocation as well, so I always like buying the tab books and learning their songs. So that I think that's like a market that we can really dip into, and a lot of fans will appreciate. So
yeah, I mean, definitely watching the playthrough for me, and you know, being I hate to call myself a musician, but you know, a guy who's been in metal bands for a long time, I just, it's mesmerizing just to watch that stuff, and I do love it. And I think the idea of doing a tab book is awesome. To your point, I don't see that a lot, but you know, I mean, I would love to have the metal scene where you know, you could download the tabs in a PDF format for your favorite records. That would blow my mind. So I fully support your effort to get that going, you know, and start that trend, because that's fucking great.
Yeah. They're essentially complete, all the tabs, but they just need like refining and checking through, and then we need to figure out how to do the print the booklet. Maybe we can get in touch with like Sheet Happens or something. I know they do a lot of bands. Yeah, something like that would be cool.
Yeah, but even digitally, I mean, obviously, I love print, but even digitally is.
Yeah, I think it would come with the download, of course, as well, with like backing tracks you can play along to and that. Yeah,
that's even better. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got like mix downs of the album with like just drum and bass, which is really cool to listen to. And I know like when we were starting the band, we were obsessed with like Death Human, and we went on YouTube because, you know, there's like the drum and bass playthroughs with Steve and Sean, which is like a big influence on the band, definitely with John and Ryan as well. So to hear like our drum and bass playthroughs, it's really cool.
Cool. I don't know if you have anything else, Eric, but I guess let's just do a round of who do we play with and who do we want to promote. And
all right, sure. Yeah, I got nothing else. I saw that Metal Hammer had the #1 death metal album of 2020. That's pretty awesome.
That was sweet. That's real nice.
Psyched about that when you saw that?
For sure. Like, especially as like been British kids and stuff, like growing up and reading Metal Hammer like every month when it comes out is like pretty awesome. So now to kind of like, you know, like been like in high school and reading Metal Hammer and be like, oh, that guy looks awesome, I want to be that guy. And now it's like I'm opening the magazine and like, oh, that guy's awesome, like me. You know, like it's kind of cool. So like, I don't know, it's real sweet, especially that like #1 spot. They didn't have to give it to us. I'm sure there's bigger record labels out there that pay them a lot of money to promote their albums, but they decided that they wanted to give us the #1 spotlight, and I can't be thankful enough for that. I think that's real cool. That's real sweet.
Yeah, it was badass. It was really awesome to see, and just to think like Ryan was saying, the kids, we were kids reading Metal Hammer, so to think about the younger like kids and musicians that are reading that now is like really surreal, and really like grateful for that. And I know like Ulcerate got the #2, and like Ryan said, like you could have given it to anyone, and to see us like just one spot above Ulcerate was awesome. So all the, you know, Ulcerate fans will have seen that and be like, who's Cryptic Shift? So yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
Okay, I guess we'll wrap it up. I just, you know, really appreciate you guys coming on. I know obviously the time difference between the US and England can sometimes be a little bit like crazy. So it was really appreciate you guys, you know, working with us to get a good time to do this. And you know, let us know when you got new stuff on. We can always add stuff in the description. And you know, we'll continue to look for your stuff. I really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome, man. Good fun. Thank you for having us. We've just keep an eye on our pages. We've got a bunch of stuff to announce of like coming up, you know, like the tab books and a lot of cool stuff like that. Working on like a storybook as well, like a written storybook to go along with the story, like future editions of our vinyl and things. So yeah, keep an eye out. Thanks for it.
Cool. And like I said, I'll put all those links in the description, so they'll be easy to find. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. See you later.
Bye.